events that would put St George City above St George FC. The formerly ladder-leading, undefeated to start the season after 6 weeks, St George FC.
When Troy Danaskos smacked in a double in his first start of the season, which was in round 7, and they had not conceded a goal to that point, did you think that some 2.5 months later we'd be sitting here with their bitter crosstown rivals ahead of them on the ladder and staring down the barrel of, I believe, touching on double digits consecutive losses?
Rockdale perhaps showing some signs that they are starting to find their feet here. If you are just joining us, we do apologise for the technical difficulties.
NPL radio, we are no longer.
It's been pretty much one-way traffic at the Palace so far. Rockdale looking to change that. It's a lovely angled ball. Huge opportunity here for Rockdale. And Moody Najjar was not able to produce the telling touch, with the goal largely, Mark, at his mercy.
Keep saying it, Lockie. When they get chances, they're incredibly dangerous. Incredibly, incredibly dangerous. And that's the best moment of the game. And it falls to the team that, for the first, 33 minutes of it, have been kept majorly inside their own 18-yard box, to be frank.
A really brilliant footballing sequence between Messrs Constable, Elliott, and chiefly Ollie Wigan. And put it on a platter, at least it looked from this vantage point for his striker. All of a sudden, Marconi's ascendancy in this game, which, again, they had all the shots in the opening 25 minutes. They've gone desperately close to scoring on a couple of occasions through this man, Ten Qual and Damien Sekenis. As yet they have nothing to show for it.
Great
Bernie to the byline. It will be one area that Peter Sekenis will be keen to work on. A lot of those crosses, they found a Rockdale player first.
I am growing even more a fan of Quinton Blair the longer this first half goes on. It's hard to appreciate unless you're here at the ground, but the man makes no mistakes, and his passes are very frequently, very often forward. Very, very often. He's a progressive passer, more than he's a progressive carrier, but certainly his passes take Marconi way up the pitch. Superb signing.
Rockdale again trying to do their best in the face of the staunch Stallions press. And he goes hunting for Damien Sekenis and is able to find him. But find him undermanned. Kurimoto to Speranza.
Better by Rockdale, much better.
Najjar try as he might, couldn't find the teammates. Speranza could. Very acute pass, but left Moody Najjar with not a lot of paddock with which to work.
Rockdale slowly growing into the game, possession-wise.
And it must be said, Mark, that for all of Marconi's territorial dominance, their possessional control, they did only generate 1 or 2 major chances to open the scoring. They should be in front, but you would expect a team who have dominated this game as they have to have maybe gone closer and definitely gotten the job done.
Well, halfway through the season, over halfway through the season, and having already played them once, this being the second half of the draw, of course, and considering what happened the first time these two met this season, why wouldn't you sit back a little deeper, 5 yards, even 7 to 10 yards deeper, and hit on the counter? Because things like this can happen, or that chance that fell to them 5 minutes ago, not even 5 minutes ago, which was the best so far of the game. If you can ride your luck a little bit and keep your defence as solid as it is cold here tonight, and you've got half a chance of getting in behind a very high-sitting Marconi defence.
Well, at this point in that fixture you mentioned, Marconi were already 3 to the good. So in some respects, This is a marked improvement on the reverse head-to-head. Constable. McCarthy. He's happy to float into pockets of open space to try and get himself involved.
Roughly how long has it been since Rockdale scored their last goal?
It has been a while. I'll get the exact figure for you in a second as they're looking to break that goal drought here. Speranza stabs the ball towards goal but out of play. Going into today's fixture, Mark, it had been 287 minutes since Rockdale's last goal in all competitions, a 73rd minute Muri Najjar goal in their 5-0 win against Hakoah in the Cup. 3 full 90s have passed, which, if my checking of the historical records is accurate, is Rockdale's longest goal drought since this time 4 years ago. Another 3-game stretch that went across league and cup that pulled us towards the 298th minute mark, but well over 320 minutes since Rockdale's last goal now at this point.
Marvellous statistic. Not for Rockdale.
Not for Rockdale. Certainly isn't for Paul D. Hopefully his hearing doesn't reach this far. It would be unheard of for a side who historically, but in recent seasons in particular, have scored goals at will, with up until this season Oleg Kurashevsky leading the charge. They're getting closer in this game though. Qual, he may fancy himself to shoot if the space opens up, and he is backing himself here. 10 Qual, and it is well wide in the end, but the year that he has had, as he went hunting a 6th goal of the season, you cannot begrudge him for an effort like that.
He's literally gone all over New South Wales, and then further to that, all over the world to score his goals this year. He one-time capped South Sudanese international, picked up a brilliant header goal against Djibouti on his international debut.
There's not many people who can say that. To light up the Palace on debut here with 2 goals, including that one that nearly took out Jake Rose in the opening round that you mentioned earlier, Mark.
I think you could argue he's the player of the season.
Oh, that's an errant touch, and it's afforded a big chance here to Marconi. Trying to chop it back was Busek for Marko Jasic, and Rockdale have had their blushes spared by a lack of killer instinct from the Marconi winger.
Improvised bit of defending on the slide. Look how dance floors around here. If that's what Rockdale defenders can do on their backside.
Oh, I'm sure there are a few weddings in the Palace at the moment where that would not look out of place. Probably a couple of 21st going on as well.
Pulled my hammy just watching it.
All awaiting the corner with 5 minutes of first half football to play. It's a wicked 1-2, punched away by Kay. And Qual will look to keep it alive. It's a short pass. It's a bender from Meyer, but it's little more than a hopeful effort towards goal.
That angle, that sighter. And Franco Meyer tees up a shot or even a cross from that position. You just know that something could very easily happen. No cigar that time.
Especially for a player in Franco Meyer who has form against Ilinden, scored against them in each of the last 2 seasons.
The more you mention it, the more I'm just going to remind the audience, for all of Marconi's territory, for their advantages and advances into the box, we are deadlocked at 0-0.
The halftime stats will make for very interesting viewing should it stay as it is. Busek looking to flip the script. Gets the head down, does the Marconi winger. Can't find a crossing angle. It's really good defending in the end by Hunter Elliott. That was skew whiff off the half quad, half knee of Muri Najjar. This is a chance for him to turn on the Jets though. 10 Qual coming across in cover. And Jake Rose decides that Muri Najjar's attempts to win the foot race were a little too overzealous.
Well, I again push my case for Ten Qual at least being in the conversation for signing of, if not, right up there for Player of the Year. At least thus far.
I do feel, you're welcome to disagree with me here, but it is always often the sign of a good centre-back pairing that when one does make a mistake or is caught short, that the other is there, quick as a flash, to make up for whatever deficiency a teammate may have presented at that particular moment.
One more the enforcer, the other perhaps possessing a little more in the department of recovery pace.
Yeah, if Anton Lenarch is the warden, I'm not sure what that makes Ten Qual.
Will let the public decide what his nickname is.
I mean, he's a hard player to put a nickname to, given his varied skill set. Of course, centre-back this season, but has been cited as a midfielder, a winger, a striker. And a handy goal scorer wherever he seems to play.
Could be on here.
Chalakian caught in a Stallion sandwich, but Rockdale keep the ball alive momentarily. This will be an interesting one. Loose in the centre circle. It's a wonderful turn from Constable. He needs a bit of support or a decent pass and isn't able to find either. Easy pickings for Ten Qual.
Maybe he wanted the free kick in retrospect, looking back.
That is uncomfortable for Levi K.
Right in the midriff.
Was caught betwixt and between. Did well to get as much purchase on the ball as he did.
He took the words right out of my mouth. He did do very well indeed. He's had a good first half.
One of the strongest knees in NPL Victoria, clearly. Or NPL New South Wales, my apologies. If he did go south, he'd probably be pretty competitive in that regard as well.
NPL Vic never truly leaves you. Well, just a couple of minutes to be added on, I'm sure. Nothing too drastic. We're just one and a bit away from the end of regular time in this first stanza, which is deadlocked but been dominated by one team. Although the best chance of the game, I will say, has fallen to today's visitors and the team with the onus on them to respond after a couple of weeks of characteristically poor showings. I mean, a much better first half than what we saw this time a week ago.
It was right around this point at which Hunter Elliott was making the long, lonely march down the tunnel at the Ilinden Sports Centre. This one, at least on the scoreboard, is going far better so far. Knocked in the bud, that one by Danzo. Constable twisting and turning, nearly into trouble.
Nicely done.
Wigan. Again, the Stallions have got the answers, but it's a couple of times now where they've been guilty of perhaps throwing the long ball too quickly. Muri Najjar, the flag has stayed down. A huge chance for Rockdale! Never think you know which way a game of football's going. Marconi have had this one all their own way in the first half. And Muri Najjar is the one at the end of all of it who puts Rockdale in front and breaks his goalless run in this league.
Glorious, glorious finish. Just a slightly jagged line from the home side Marconi, who have been dominant throughout this first half. And when it finally fell to a playmake he did. In behind ran the brilliant and pacey Muri Najjar. Onside he remained. Composed he remained. The bottom corner tucked away. A fantastic move from the visitors who deserve that.
Well, Marconi will have their protests. You can have another look at it at home as well. Tyron Burney, the player who may just have been keeping Muri Najjar on side. But Rockdale's number 9, who's had such big shoes to fill this season, will very gratefully take an 8th of his NPL New South Wales campaign.
Jeez, I tell you what, and Harry McCarthy in the 22 wanting his first goal this season. He would have been absolutely livid had he have not received a square pass there, but thankfully for the number 9, he scored.
Well, whatever script you thought you were writing after 44 minutes of football played at the Palace, tear it up, throw it away. Rockdale have put paid to any ideas of a comfortable Marconi win in this Saturday night match of the round. It was one-way traffic for the Stallions. They looked to be certain to close in on an opening goal and a 1-0 advantage. Tenquol had a chance. Damien Sekenis probably should have scored his 14th of the season, but if you don't take your chances, you leave yourself vulnerable. And Moody Najjar made his mark against the bows. Another goal against Marconi for him, and it is the ladder leaders who find themselves under threat, Mark Tapali, with 45 minutes to play.
Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We took you through a first half that ebbed and flowed, especially beyond the 30-minute mark or so, when Rockdale just finally realised that Marconi couldn't press in the manner that they started, at least, this game. And when they just took their foot off the gas for a little bit, perhaps they were, to put it, gassed and trying to regain their breath, Rockdale slowly crept forward a bit more territory and then bang, spring the trap, keep your head, and put yourself 1-0 up in what is objectively, besides of course the very last second of the game, the best time to score in a match. Right before the break, right before the interchange, all of the setup to do in the sheds for both these two sides. What kind of approach do you think Rockdale might take into the second half?
More of the same, if that is anything to go by. They did have to ride their luck, but what chances they took or what chances they had, they were all very threatening, and it has put Marconi in a position where top spot and 8 games undefeated are well and truly under threat at the Palace. It is a fascinating 45 that awaits on the other side of the break. Here at the half, it is Marconi Stallions 0, Rockdale 1. The drama-raising tones of Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project ring out across Marconi Stadium for what is a massive 45 minutes of football in round 17's match of the round, and in the context of Marconi's push for the premiership and assault on top of the table. 1-0 down at the moment, looking to change that. An awkward one that nearly made life difficult for the Rockdale defence. A Rockdale defence who were up against it for 44 minutes of football as Marconi banged the door down to find an opener. They couldn't. They might be able to find an equaliser here, but Jesic is offside. It is such a frenetic start to the first 45, or the second 45, that we can barely even wrap up the first. The Stallions were dominant for 45 minutes of football. They banged at the door for an opener, and then to show that if you think you know a game, the way a game of football is going, you don't. Rockdale marched up the other end and scored in stoppage time through Moody Najjar to take the lead and end their 333-minute wait for a goal and leave Mark DeParley, Marconi Stallions, with a job on their hands if they want to retake top spot from Apia.
What a brilliant way to reintroduce the two teams. Indeed, it is a massive second half for both of these two teams. Play your way back into form. Sometimes that's the best way to do it. Just ride the ship, even if it is a little unsteady. But for Marconi, in order to maintain their excellent form across all competitions, they're going to need to not quite pull a rabbit out of the hat, but certainly show the kind of form that they have shown throughout the season, the kind of attacking impetus that they have asserted so far. I mean, I think back to a particular game where they were down 2-0 in the not too recent past, and they scored 4 unanswered in the second stanza to bring it back. Does it ring a bell for you as well?
I thought that might have been the path you were leading us down, that epic comeback against the Sutherland Sharks when they were 2-0 down inside 14 minutes in that game and scored some quality goals to make it their own. That is the kind of character champions, or as Marconi is searching for in the regular season, that elusive premiership or premier's title. But yes, it is not an eventuality. 1-0 Rockdale at half-time that the form book would have suggested.
Oh, I bit myself on the backside. Lenaric, who just about nearly got himself into trouble there, actually scored in the 43rd minute of that Sharks game, but nonetheless, 2 down. 4-2 the final score.
Stallions fighting to maintain an unbeaten run that includes that Sutherland Sharks win. One of 7 games they've gone unbeaten in NPL New South Wales. Rockdale, who are without Lockie Griffiths and the continually absent Harry van der Sar. Defensive units looking to end a 3-game run without a win, a run of 3 straight defeats in all competitions.
What an excellent way to end the first half from the neutrals perspective. That's the reason why hundreds and hundreds of people, not just watching here, but watching in online as well. So thanks so much for joining us here at the start of this second half. Pleasure to have you alongside us as we try and brave what is an ever-decreasing temperature.
Well, some things might not have panned out as we expect. Some things do stay the same. Marko Jesic, 6 long throws in the first half. He is now prepping his 7th to start the second stanza.
And there's some tall timber in there too.
It's another handy roost. It's again in Tengkol's direction. It's a shot from range that's blocked it. After a great leap from Marchevsky once and then twice. The youngster who is getting his starting NPL New South Wales debut. Having been handed the starting nod in the cup by Paul D away to Apia.
Keeping a clean sheet too. Long way to go in this one though.
It certainly is. It will be fascinating. How do you expect the Stallions to approach the start of this second 45? Because they're a team who have become so accustomed to not having to be in this position effectively, not having to work from behind. They're so good at getting their leads, sitting on them, holding on to them. this is a very different kettle of fish for them to contend with. And it's not like, as defensively shaky as Rockdale look, it's not like they don't have the attacking talents out there to potentially nick a second.
No, but they're still sitting as deep as they were for the majority of that first half, other than when they felt a slight bit more confident to sit a couple of yards higher, particularly those in those wide positions. Wigan and McCarthy, and Moody Najjar pushed up a little higher too, but I think they were the same for Marconi. They made...
Oh, what a ball over the top. Great control from Jesic as well. Case come off his line. Jesic will look to find the lurking players in the middle. Sakenis gets up. Busek couldn't reach it. Rockdale able to clear at the concession of a corner.
Well, exactly what I was saying. They're making chances. The long balls over the top from the defenders, particularly their two incredibly technically proficient centre-backs, have been fantastic to watch. Their set pieces, they have taller timber on average throughout the entire starting 11 compared to that of the visitors, and I think eventually it's going to come.
This has gone short for George Daniel. Left-footed ball in is a good one. And the header just not able to match the tantalising nature of the delivery that preceded it. Damien Sakenis heading wide.
Sometimes you don't need to make a daredevil substitution, something, a shot in the dark. Sometimes you just need to keep doing what you're doing and have the strength of character and mind to keep your head while doing it. I think in the way that they gave the ball away for the goal they conceded with seconds to go in that first half, if not on the last play of that first half, I should say, they would have come out of that first half as by far the better of the two teams and not behind on the scoreboard.
Undermanned though they may be, Rockdale, the Stallions will be well aware of the work that they have cut out for them if they look to get something out of this game. Not least because Rockdale did win on their last visit here. Their only win in 5 against Marconi, courtesy of Brendan Chalakian's first half goal. But also because we talk about how good Marconi have been historically and recently at defending their leads. Rockdale not half bad either. This is the 24th game since the start of last season where they have scored first. They have not lost a single one. Down goes Sakenis at the top of that penalty area.
A pained yelp there, and there's the first show of cheese of the evening.
Looks to have gone the way of the young central defender Michael Marchevsky. Historically, Rockdale very good at holding on and grinding out results when they do hit the front first. But of those 23 games where they've scored first and failed to lose, winning 21 of them, this may be the one in which they have their work most cut out for them.
Most certainly. The last 3 times these two teams have played, the winner has been the visitors as well. So recent history favours the team that are, well, also in the lead right now.
And what you would not want to see if you were defending said lead is Messrs Meyer, Jesic and Qual standing over the dead ball, all of whom lay very legitimate claims to being the one to take this on. Seen Qual score them in the colours of Olympic in previous years. You know what Franco Meyer has in those mercurial boots, and of course Marco Jesic scored an absolute screamer in that Derby d'Italia last week.
This is interesting. Perhaps George Daniel lining one up like Roberto Carlos.
There's a player on the foot of the wall lying down for Rockdale, a draft excluder. It's going to be the play here for the Stallions. Pressure on this set piece. Franco Meyer doesn't get the dip. Not good off the boot, but just didn't dip in time to call Levi Kay into action, and it's a scare survived for the Ilinden defence.
A moment of relief for the entire defence and also for the young man on debut. I can't fault him for the action that he did to lead into that yellow card. I think he did the right thing in that moment, and his reward for that good gamesmanship, if you like, is that his team maintained their clean sheets.
Chalakian. unfavourable task for Ollie Wigan. Shalakian, who, Najar gets the plaudits for opening the scoring. Rockdale's captain deserves a lot of credit for the lead-up play that preceded it.
Touch. At least in theory.
That's more like it from Constable, bringing a bit of quality to the sequence. I went and spoiled it all by saying something stupid. Classic commentator's curse there.
Thought you were about to break the song and dance.
No, that's in Club Marconi after the game. So, a missile from Elliott, but can only find a Marconi shirt. Constable has it stolen off his toes by an outstretched Mate Busek.
Good throw-in by the ball kid. Future Jesic down there.
There might be some actual Jesic's amongst the ball kids. His children are amongst his most fervent supporters. We've talked about that cracking goal he scored last week. His son was over the fence to celebrate the goal. One back by Danzo. A second here for Rockdale would make it really interesting, but the Stallions have put pay to any attempts to make that happen this time around. Sharp. Clever back heel to find McCarthy. His pass laterally for Shalakian. Just left his teammate a little wanting.
Chance here. Wrong ball.
It's not the ball. Exactly as you say. Daniel. The angle pass. Well shielded by Sekenis at the first instance. Not so at the second. Danzo. Clever exchange with Wigan, who was not clever enough to get the beating of George Daniel.
Sekenis turning into a sea of bodies. As a result, Marconi finding the possession changed hands. Feet. Big
up and under from Anton Mlinaric. Kudimoto judged it well. So too did Danzo that time around. Constable. Chalakian away from the snapping heels of Teng Kuol. Will that break for Wigan? The answer is no. But this has so far, Mark Tapali, been a very different start to the second half than the first.
I'll tell you what has been similar though, how quickly we are churning through the minutes. We're at the 2/3 mark of the game, just about. 58 have just gone on by very, very quickly. Where did the first 15 minutes of this first half go? But I feel like it's been more of the same that we saw in the first half. Rockdale sitting in a little deeper, although looking better than they did for the first 15 minutes of the first stanza.
It took them at least a half hour to create a meaningful goal-bound chance. It took them 20 minutes to string a sequence of more than 5 passes into the front third. So, progress. The lead has given them some much-needed confidence.
Seka and Flea looking back on those moments and wondering, should we have capitalised?
Busek, wicked delivery. Sekenis is denied wonderfully by Kay. A top stop from the Rockdale keeper. And it's going to bring about a stoppage in play because it looked like a collision of heads between Kurimoto and Sekenis. One in their effort to score, the other in their effort to stop him from scoring. So both trainers swiftly onto the field.
Jeez, hopefully he's okay. His momentum from falling out of the sky was led by his face being pile drived into the surface. That's going to leave quite the graze.
Yeah, well, Sekenis collected both the contact from Kunimoto, at least it looks, from the back of the head, and then the force of the turf as he went down as well. As disappointing as the end result is, how about the ball from Mate Busek? That was...
Again, I come back to this point. Marconi are doing all the right things. And I said this 15 minutes into the game, that eventually it's going to come. As long as their fullbacks don't push too high, or their centre-backs go too far forward, out of position, And they concede a goal on the counter. It's not quite how the solitary goal did find the back of the net. A bit more of a mix-up and a mishap from Marconi and giving the ball away on the halfway line and then not being able to hold their line properly. But again, they're making all the right chances. A draw's not a terrible result here against their emerging rivals in Rockdale, but they're going to want to win at home, certainly.
So this, yes, it's long throw. The 8th of the evening, incredibly. It's not a lie, it's the truth. No embellishment there. It's going to be 10v10. Over the head of Qual. Up but not away by Rockdale. Qual winning the second ball, and Speranza launching into the night sky at the home of his former employers.
I ask at what point do the throw-in stop going long? Rockdale's dealing with them pretty healthily so far.
Message upended. Enough contact to invite the whistle of Jake Rose.
I mean, Jesic has hit the same spot. Pretty much that sideline marking of the 6-yard box every single time from both ends of the pitch. Rockdale are either reading it better every single time, or Marconi are not doing well enough to position themselves to flick it on, which I think is the goal. They need to figure that out because it seems one of their better avenues towards goal, but still hasn't reached the rewards just yet.
Busek's last ball into the box was as enterprising as any you'll see. Now's the dead ball. It's in from Meyer. It's bouncing across the box. It's stabbed towards the post, into the goal frame. And despite the protestations of Damien Seketis, no goal is awarded.
Levi K will be thanking the groundsman on the way out. That frame of the goal held very firm as it was crashed into from just a couple of centimetres out.
I have to say, Mark, don't know if you've had a chance to look back at it. You can at home as well. Looks the correct decision.
Certainly. Moving across on the line. Back stick is free.
Quinton Blair, great ball back. Busek on the move. He can hit these and wanted to and did. And his wait for a first goal of the season continues on.
Yes, the man who figuratively exploded into life goal-scoring form in the Australian Championship. Still waiting for his first, bit more of a facilitative role, I would say, as a left-sided midfielder this season.
It still has been even if it's lacked the goal-scoring contributions, a great campaign for Mate Busek so far. He was the Stallions super substitute last season. Great header from Qual.
Here we go.
An enterprising flick. Will it drop at the lap of Jesic? It's an awkward tangle. It was really uncomfortable, but Jake Rose was in no doubt as to the fact that there was no infringements from Marchevsky, who, let's not forget, is on a card.
I think what's happened is that ball from Sekenis has bounced just a little too high for Jesic to get under control or immediately take a pot shot. And as a result, he's had to improvise. Perhaps that improvisation has left him to welcome the contact. And the referee has said it's not quite enough. What's your take?
Yeah, he sort of had to slam on the brakes because he became a cropper as a result of the bounce. And there's no doubt that Marchevsky steams in, but I don't think it is a result of malicious intent or deliberate efforts to foul Marco Jesic. And unfortunately, the ball was well away from him.
He's got two hands on him as the contact comes in, and he does go down. I'll try and pause this at the pivotal moment. It's a really interesting one because we're also on the wrong angle from our commentary tower.
I mean, Jake Rose was not in any doubt whatsoever.
He knew straight away what his call was, and in some ways that's the perfect kind of response you need to have in those moments, as long as it's decisive and to the point.
At the end of all of it, the only player who actually went to ground and stayed down was Rockdale's keeper, Levi Kay.
Well, that one goal in the St George derby from Mason Tatafu, 4 minutes into the second stanza, is all needed for the St George two teams to do a bit of a swap on the table. And somewhat, I would say it's scarcely believable.
Well, I was took the words right out of my mouth. I know that Rockdale, or rather St George's slide, is well documented and getting increasingly long, but it still is incredible to think that City are ahead of them on the table. It would be the only teams trading places tonight if results end as they are now. Apia would be back on top of NPL New South Wales if Rockdale, who haven't won in 3 games, could hold on.
Key point is that there's a big fixture to come tomorrow afternoon that involves the current third place sitters have the chance to go top should they win.
It was clumsy from Qual. Chalaki not able to punish with his hopeful launch in behind the Marconi backline, who conceded for just the 14th time this season in first half stoppage.
Touch George Daniel.
Top quality from George Daniel. Too hot for Wigan to handle. It was... Oh, Jake Rose has had some contentious calls to make in this half, as have his assistant referees. That one was as open and shut as you're likely to see.
He's tested out his rotator cuff there.
Holly Wigan literally caught red-handed.
Set free for a crossfield switch of play. Should they be brave enough to try and find it? Chance probably gone now.
Ball ends up at his feet anyway. 24 minutes and stoppage still to come in Saturday night's match of the round, which, as it stands, is set to go Rockdale's way. On course to get one over there. Emergent enemy. That is a brilliant switch of play, though. And an opportunity for Marconi to equalise. Another great save from Kay.
Oh, brilliant.
It's cleared away again. And then bashed in by Armson. And as good teams do, the Stallions find a way. And it is Jack Armson back to Ilinden again with another goal against Rockdale, and a desperately needed one for his new Stallion side.
Massive, massive goal in the premiership race, in the confidence of these Marconi players. One of numerous games to play here at home. Turn the Palace into a fortress. That has to be the key. And with a response like this, and with the amount of time left in this game, the onus still remains on them to find the winner. But that's a really good way to put yourself in the position to go and do so.
It was an unrelenting assault on the goal for that equaliser. Franco Meyer tried to do it all himself, was denied by Kay. Bernie couldn't stroke it home on the follow-up. And Jack Armson found the telling touch that the Stallions so desperately needed. And for the 5th time in NPL New South Wales, and for the 2nd time this season, Jack Armson scores against Rockdale. And here he is again.
They're moving nicely now.
Stallions want to turn this one on its head quickly. George Daniel chops it back. Oh! Mate Busek puts it into a, thankfully, from a Rockdale persuasion, savable area for Levi Kay.
Oh, said the crowd. The crowd brought to life with these last couple of passes, and of course the goal to level things here. Marconi moving back on top of the live ladder with the goal, and on goal difference they are equal now with 39 points with their Derby d'Italia rivals Apia. And once again, I go back to the point. Keep doing the same things right when you can see that they are creating chances, and eventually just have the guile to keep your head and put one away. Could have blasted it, could have shanked it, could have shunked it. In the end, Armson, brilliant technique through a sea of bodies. Of course, a little fortunate to be able to squeeze it through what looked an impregnable gap. At the end of the day, we're tied at 1-1, but there was some great defending on the line from a desperate set of Rockdale players. Somewhat unfortunate they weren't able to keep their sheet clean with that sheer show of desperation.
6th of the season for Jack Armson. Takes him second in their scorers list this season. And Armson again has a pop, and then
Jeez, he wants that first goal.
goes for glory. He is desperate. That is the end at which he scored his most recent Marconi goal. The match winner for them to send them to the Australian Championship final against Moreton City Excelsior. That's a ball that asks the question. Wade heads away.
Ooh.
Rockdale closing their ranks here and do enough to win the ball back. And this one is starting to come to a boil now at the Palace. As you expected, some way, somehow it would. These two recent rivals with lots on the line.
So perhaps the craziest result of the day was the fact that Wollongong's great unbeaten run came to a crushing end to a UNSW side who've run a string of games on the bounce to move right into top 6 contention. The gap when today's visitors, Rockdale, were ahead was only 3 to Wollongong. That has now moved to 5. So that top 4 starting to move away, as we mentioned in the early moments of this live stream.
And that gap could thin considerably if Rockdale are able to retake the lead. Been a while since this one ended in a draw, not since 2024. Round 2 of that season here at the Palace. We'll have to go back another year. Both of those 2-all draws. This one delicately poised at 1-all. And all awaiting Woody Najar's left-footed delivery. And those Rockdale players in the box will still be waiting because the effort in the end, sadly, for Rockdale star striker trying to turn provider was nowhere near any of them.
Predicting 18 blistering, fast-paced, firm tackling minutes left to go.
Well, one of the reasons, talking before, Mark, about how quickly time has gone on in this second half, one of the reasons is probably also because we've had quite a few stoppages for injury too. And so you imagine that those 18 blistering minutes are going to be preceded by, if I was a betting man right now, at least 4 breathtaking minutes of stoppage. We shall see, though.
How many Jake Rose can you give us? Give us as many as you can, and then some, please. There's no need to go home early tonight.
Plenty of interested eyes in the 4th official. Johan Pizzo at full time. At the end of the 90, but there is still a bit of time to go before we get to that juncture.
Happy to have out of time all the way till about 1:59 a.m. and then I could switch over to the Champions League final.
Chaotic last couple of minutes. The side's just trying to bring a bit of order to this chaos.
Brilliant.
And a bit of quality to it as well. Shot back towards Chalakian, who manages to wriggle away in a situation where he oughtn't to have, and he is held up by a wall of Marconi bodies. Jake Rose unmoved. The same could not be said of Brendan Chalakian.
He did not even have to imitate the baseballian safe gesture, if you like. Nothing needed there at all. No chance of that being deemed as a spot kick.
Oh, Norwich, what a ping that is for Damien Sekenis, who stands up at Kunimoto, and Kunimoto stands tall. Really good challenge by the Japanese defender in his first season in a Rockdale shirt.
Took slightly too long on the ball, though. Chanskars are begging.
Still yet to see a substitute for either side. Fall being harassed and harangued by Mudi Najar. Had his measure once today. They've been mostly comfortable. There's been a few hard-in-mouth moments in the centre of that Stallions defence. Dropped nicely and kindly into the lap of Muri Najjar. Chalakian trying to return the favour, and Najjar has broken his way through. But puts it straight down the throat of Joel Wade. And so much of the good attacking play that Rockdale have enjoyed tonight. Few and far between though it has been. And it's usually happened through the combination of Chalakian and Najjar. A
combination of the trajectory of the ball and George Daniels' shielding pushed Muri Najjar onto his somewhat weaker right-hand side, and as a result, the shot down the throat of a grateful goalkeeper.
It's a palpable tension that presides over the Palace at the present moment. The Stallions have fought back to level pegging, retaken their spot atop the NPL New South Wales table. But they will want more. And so too will Rockdale. McCarthy skips round one.
Nicely done.
Breaks free of a second. How will this sit? It's won commandingly by Mlinaric. Speranza. Just slows the pace. Chalakian again battles hard, and this time gets the whistle that he has been asking for.
Once again, 25 to 30 minutes into the first half, much like 25 to 30 minutes into the second half. Marconi's foot collectively comes off the gas, and Rockdale find a bit of territory, and it's kind of how they earned their opening goal, the opening goal of the day, Rockdale. I wonder if something similar is coming here with the scores levelled again at 1-1, because the last 5 minutes have belonged firmly to them.
I wonder what is coming here, because only a handful it looks in the wall. In fact, it may be the full complement of 4. It is some distance. Brendan Chalakian is one of the chief technicians in this competition. He has won this game before. He looks the turn provider. The glancing header is dealt with at the far stick by Sekenis. Recycled by Hunter Elliott, but to no great effect.
Marconi have lost their scoreboard. It's tragic.
Unfortunately, those of you watching at home haven't lost yours. It is 1-1 with 15 minutes to play.
Chance here.
And Rockdale are starting to build as this game stretches longer. Lovely dart down the right-hand side. That's deflection, an awkward one, but potentially important from Qual. And a corner will be going the way of Rockdale Ilinden.
Rockdale just building, crescendoing towards the end of this game. Marconi currently doing the holding on, if you like. And as mentioned prior, they do have the taller timber, the home side, but what can this Rockdale outfit craft as they try and hunt their lead back? An in-swinger.
A few wanting left-footed deliveries from Najjar in this second half. This corner will be some way to put that right. It's right into a Marconi shirt.
It's a really good ball towards the front stick. It's just a shame that there was no one in red and black there.
A case of lack of someone attacking it, then lack of quality in the delivery. So the first substitutions of the night to arrive with a little under 15 minutes to play. Stallions, if not super sub, certainly one of Peter Sekenis' favourites. Sunday Yona is going to be coming on for the 14th substitute appearance of his season in place of Mate Busek. Just the one goal for Sunday Yona since signing from St George FC. And Mathieu Cordier has made his injury return in the league, or latest return from injury in place of Ollie Wigan. Sekenis just caught betwixt and between there. So, looks to be pretty like for like in both of those substitutes Mark DePali, Sunday Yona straight onto the left, and Matthew Cordier doing the same on Rockdale's attacking flanks.
Footed trickery to come on and try and game break as we head towards the tied league stage.
Lovely ball too for Cordier, who breaks away and has his shot blocked. It was quality work in the lead up from the star winger, who's has to go the long way back into a team, and this is breaking open here for the Stallions. Blair across to Sekenis. Sunday Yona looking to turn on the Jets, but denied wonderfully by Hunter Elliott, even if in truth, Mark, it looked as though the pass did favour the defender.
Indeed it did. Sunday had the yardage and the fresher legs, and now we've got an injury concern to, I believe, the Rockdale captain.
Brendan Chalaki, not the player London fans will want to see on the floor.
Last year's Club Player of the Year has been integral tonight, especially when Rockdale were looking for a foothold back in the game. And they'd really like him to be on the pitch for the remaining 10 plus whatever's to be added on.
If at first you don't succeed, try and try and try and try and try and try again. Short. Oh, it's short this time.
Wow.
Trick play. Daniel's early ball. Glance not fully clear, recycled somewhat haphazardly.
Maybe long next time.
Not only was it short, but Marko Jesic was a long way back from the from the actual pitch there as well.
Jesic was ordering a pizza as he threw in that ball. I love this game. Throws up some funny moments, doesn't it?
Less than 10 to play in this Saturday night match of the round, which has certainly delivered in its drama. And out of form, Rockdale look to upset the apple cart, opening the scoring through Moody Najar. Now they're looking to go one step further. Cordier. Held up nicely by Mlinaric. Clearance not totally away though. Chalakian. If that dart and pass inside, it was well read that time by Marconi's midfield.
Smell a winner here. Don't know for who, but it feels like it's gearing towards that.
Two sides who, Rockdale especially, specialise in the late and dramatic. I'm sure we'll be holed up at home, hopefully warmer and cosier than he would be at the Palace, and enjoying what he's seeing. Cheering on Rockdale, because a go-ahead goal for them would put Apia back atop the NPL New South Wales table.
Not sure how much you're cheering at home, Mr. Parisi. Perhaps a right smile.
Well, it's a long season. Still 2 points gained if it were to end as it is now. Forward by Kunimoto. Qual doing enough.
Really good defending.
It's been a utterly gripping battle between he and Moody Najar tonight. Machevsky's header back to Kay, who was clattered through by Sekenis. That's all late and ugly, but nothing too untoward in the eyes of Jake Rose. Nothing requiring a card.
Sekenis sitting on 3 for the season in the league. Would have put him on 1 away from serving a 1-match suspension, so I'm sure he's grateful to not be on that thin ice.
Breaks the way of Harry McCarthy. Couldn't get it through the gap. Presented by George Daniel. And now Sunday Yona is on the move. Still Sunday Yona. Tantalising flick. Jesic. Back to Yona. Who couldn't pick the gap for Sekenis. And it feels a little unfair that all that enterprising play did not have a meaningful opportunity at the end.
Forget the stats. Keep giving it Sunday. That's the key in these last 5 or so.
Maya. This is a game crying out for a hero. Quinton Blair. Daniel. The Stallions starting to throw more numbers forward. Caution into the wind. The breeze that is blowing slightly across the pitch at present. Bernie back to Mlinaric. Blair looking to pull strings at the base again.
It's a combination of George, Daniel and Sunday Yona really pulling this right side of the Rockdale's defence apart.
Again they go looking for Sunday Yona. This will ask a lot of him, and he's equal to the task.
Well done.
That's as well won a Sunday to generate a set piece.
Genuinely one of the best moments of individual quality in the game, in a game that's had plenty of it.
And it is the Stallion substitute who defers to the Stallion super veteran Marko Jesic to take the corner. I've seen them score direct this ground this season. Marconi. Jesic just ball in, flicked on by Armson at the front post. He had another pop and couldn't find a way through traffic. Bernie, a clipper towards Qual. Sunday Yona Rose, and Jesic! Big appeals at the top of the penalty area for a free kick. Nodded from both sides. Play continues. And Rockdale, who have weathered the storm in the last few minutes, have a chance to try their arm in an attacking move. Is the last few minutes a suggestion at the point of being content with their point?
No. No, look at how high these wingers are sitting on fullbacks. I think it's a testament that they are at least committed to giving it one or two more goes. As Brendan Shalakian is going to make way. The captain removes his fluorescent armband.
Remembering that challenge that sent him onto the deck a few minutes earlier. Brendan Shalakian will depart this game for Jerry Skatardis, having almost quite literally run himself into the ground this evening. Jerry Skatardis, he has shown an attacking lilt this season, 2 goals, which is a lot by his standards. Off the bench this year.
Played a pretty healthy part in the midweek cup game.
Both away as well to Spirit and Manly. Over the head of Cordier. Flicked on by Najjar. Daniel.
Oh,
not fully away. Skatardis with a swing and a miss. And Daniel flicks the ball clear. Chaotic stuff from the Stallions. Hunter Elliott blocked en route by Sunday Yona.
His heavy contact on the edge of the 18-yard box. And by the edge, I mean inside edge.
McCarthy deflected, and Armson had to go for the safety first option, which was conceding a Rockdale corner.
2 minutes to go. Rockdale with their perhaps final chances of the match to find a winner, and it would be a most memorable one on the road.
They have had to cop some pasting, some harrowing memories, Rockdale, against the Stallions in recent seasons. Could this be their chance to dish out their own dose of heartbreak? In comes the corner, double fist away from Wade. Kept alive by McCarthy, and that one is easier for the Stallion stopper, who is quick to set Marconi on their way. Sekenis, Sunday Yona. Numbers starting to amass in the penalty area for him. Sunday Yona. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You stay level at the Palace. Sunday Yona certainly delivered the energy you would hope of a substitute mark, but unfortunately that time around, not the killer instinct.
No. Body shape a little wrong. And he looks to the skies as he just bathes in the frustration of that moment going against him.
Jesic was in a decent spot, I suppose. But you wouldn't have begrudged him for going for glory with the angle that he had to goal.
Certainly not. Lame up and lights in the match of the round.
Is there one last twist in this tale? Qual bailed out by Blair, who wanted to thread the needle for Sunday Yona.
Good defending.
McCarthy.
Piggyback.
There you go. Richard McCarthy playing a different game there, and it is bang on 4 minutes of stoppage time here at the Palace.
You're exactly right. I'm not sure, by the way, Lenarge is a fan of the fun and games at this point of this contest.
So I said I'm not a betting man, but if I was, with the stoppage time, I would have made myself a handy profit. So,
yeah, petrol money.
It is time enough for either side to make this one their own. Either that, or this game, which is always so hotly contested between two sides who have grown to not like each other in this competition, to share the spoils for the first time in 2 years.
One more late change coming for Rockdale, it seems. The intent is behind that.
Back to back,
Good touch.
up and unders. McCarthy try as he might. Can't restore Rockdale possession. Daniel.
Really good. Really good play, George Daniel, as he has all night all season.
Armson was caught in controversy, but it was inch perfect in the end.
3-on-3 in the box.
Meyer with options to aim at. Stood up wonderfully by Skatardis. And Rockdale, if they picked their passes, could have gotten on the move there, but an all-important touch.
In the back, there's a player down too.
They still haven't made that additional sub that they're keen to involve in this game.
Well, there goes 2 minutes of the added on 4. Hopefully
Some added time, one added time coming here. I'm not entirely sure quite what this hold-up is for.
well, Harry McCarthy's gone off.
Go. Now we get that substitute. Stefan Simonoski, who's been coming off the bench in recent weeks in his second senior season for Rockdale, comes on in place of Harry McCarthy. There's the boo for the first grade side in the final round of last season. Sekenis able to run the Stallions a throw. This may well, I've actually started to lose count, Mark. This may be the number 10's 10th long throw of the game.
You're exactly right.
Here it comes from Jesic. His late drama abound at the Palace. It won't be coming from the throw. It may come from a corner.
There's still time after this. So no need for Marconi to rush it.
Here's the final minutes of stoppage, but you imagine we will extend into the generosity of the referee.
Oh, how nervous is Paul D right now? On the cusp of a very decent result in isolation.
Knife-cutting tension to end Saturday's footballing affair. Marconi with the last roll of the dice in search of 3 desperate 3 points.
Oh.
It's lifted in, and Messrs Yona and Qual could not steer it home. Another one of those deliveries, Mark, that if it had any touch, more than likely could have been a winner.
Now, all of the set pieces for Marconi tonight have been so close, but no cigar.
How generous is Jake Rose feeling? Sekenis is brought down. That was a bit of a clumsy one from Kunimoto. And it will be a free kick for the Stallions in added time on added time. And it will be a second Rockdale central defender into the book.
Kunimoto has just face first, headbutted the boot. He dove in with no regard for his own safety, picking up his 4th yellow card of the season, probably stopping what could have been a lethal Marconi attack. And his wrist having to go overseas for a nose job just for it.
It was a very awkward stoppage indeed. And it's afforded a big chance for the Stallions to snatch the 3 points right at the end.
Well, this surely has to be a cross.
On track to go 8 games unbeaten. Will it be with a return to the winners list in this, the first of 8 straight games at the Palace, as they mount an assault on that elusive NPL Premiership? And not only was it an awkward challenge from Kunimoto, it's also an awkward position for the set piece.
Very, very awkward indeed.
Franco Maya will have to be on his game here.
It's going towards the back stick.
Clips the ball in. There's a towering header, and it's a wide header. And that may just be enough for Rockdale to survive and head home with a point. But Marconi cannot say they haven't had the chances. It ends all square at Marconi Stadium. And while the ladder leaders keep their grip atop the NPL New South Wales table and mounted a case for more, they will have to content themselves with a point in the match of the round. They had plenty of the early knockings, but it was Rockdale who had the advantage in the stat that counted. Muri Najar, in the face of all the Stallions' chances, put the visitors ahead in first half stoppage. And left Stallions with work to do in the second 45. They were able to. Jack Harmson smashing home an equaliser that set us up for a tantalising finish where either side could have won it, but ultimately neither did. And for the first time since 2024, Mark DePaoli, the points are shared between these two recently embittered rivals.
I'm just grateful for such an entertaining game. I mean, how enjoyable was that from the first play, from the very first whistle to the very end of the match? I mean, even out of the blocks at half-time, Marconi essentially waited as long as they could in the heating of their half-time sheds, came back out onto the pitch, and within seconds of everyone getting into position, they ran their butts off. It's been a cold night as we approach winter, but it's been a night that's delivered warmth in terms of footballing entertainment. I mean, a great goal to open it, a good bit of putting numbers into the box and just hoping for a bit of the best, and the best came in terms of the responding equaliser. I think those two teams and those two sets of coaches will come to the end of their nights and think that was probably the result that we and our opposition deserved.
It was a hard-fought point from both sides and from either of their perspectives. Rockdale to hold out, Marconi to fight back. Confidence boosting for Ilinden, who will travel away to Blacktown next week, while the Stallions go 8 unbeaten in this, the first of 8 games at home. And they keep their grip on top of the table, but the door is ajar for the likes of Apia and Sydney United, who play tomorrow, just that little bit more. Hope for you it's been an enjoyable match of the round. We've certainly enjoyed it from the gantry. Signing off from Marconi Stadium, where the full-time score was Marconi Stallions 1, Rockdale Ilinden 1.
Ciao for now.